it's not just for, it's for, new people, and me. Well, I'm one of them, but.
A lot of people are on vacation this week.
Yeah, that's okay.
Even
I'm really glad whoever's here is the right group of people. That's my thought.
Anybody who's unidentified that we don't recognize.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't like it.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask her about how much she gets.
Okay. Your call. Liz has a question.
There is somebody in the meeting. Identify. I'm not letting them know.
You can message the waiting room if you know how to do that.
Oh, you can?
You can.
They can't message back though.
That's okay.
If they're in the
you can
waiting
say,
Say,
can
like,
you
please identify yourself.
please? You can rejoin if you're willing. If you can change your name and identify yourself. Yeah.
So I don't know this opening song, so I'm just not going to sing for
It's
it.
okay.
Okay.
You can hum or whatever you or nothing.
Mhm.
It's fine.
Cool.
Okay. Good?
Mhm.
Are we ready? Is it time?
Yeah. 7:33.
Nice. I invite you to join in humming. Give it a try. When was the last time you hummed? Give it a try. And the words are Shabbat Shalom. Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom. Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom. Umevorach. One more time, everyone. I can barely hear you. Let's use a little more koach, a little more breath, so we can welcome Shabbat together. Here we go. Shabbat Shalom Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom Umevorach. Beautiful. Next part, part 2, an easy major scale up and down. Here we go. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Both parts right in a row. Shabbat Shalom Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. And here's part 3. Part 3, if you want to do the la la lies, you can. If you want to join in the words, you can. The words are Shir Hamalot, Beshuv Adonai et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholmim, which is a big mouthful in Hebrew. But what we're talking about is a song that lifts us and turns us back to God. And it's from Birkat HaMazon, the blessing after the meals that we sing on Shabbat. Shir Hamalot Beshuv Shir Hamalot Beshuv Adonai et Shimat Zion Hayinu Kechomim. Last time all the way through. And then next week we're going to put them all together. It's going to be amazing. Come back. Shabbat Shalom Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shir Hamalot Beshuv Adonai et Shimat Zion Hayinu Kechomim. So I was thinking about prayer, and I was thinking about what are we doing here when we come here to pray? And Rabbi Zoe Klein wrote, prayer is not always ancient. Most prayer hasn't even been written yet. Your prayer hasn't been written yet. So we're here on Shabbat. We're going to say our ancient prayers, but we also have the opportunity to offer our own prayers and to create prayers that haven't even been written yet. And so you'll see tonight, I left us a little more room for just some quiet praying time and just see what happens. Just see what happens, see what prayer is in there that wants to come out. Okay, so we're ready now to light the Shabbat candles. Let's see, Stacy and Scott, would you like to come and light the candles? Wonderful, thank you so much. Let's turn together to page 3 in our Siddur. You can do whatever you want, however you're used to doing it. Let's read together at the top of page 3, and then we'll go ahead and light the candles. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Okay, beautiful.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lechadligner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen, and thank you. Okay, everyone, let's continue on page 20 with the singing of Lecha Dodi, the welcoming of the Sabbath beloved, the Sabbath queen or the Sabbath bride, you can also call the Sabbath beloved.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Okay, holding. And we'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. We're on page 20. Before verse 9, let's rise and we'll all turn towards that door right there and see if we can feel the Sabbath beloved coming in. And then at the end of the verse, we can turn back to our regular spots and see if she came in, see if she's with us. Ready?
Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד ישמיענו, אל גם יחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונראה כי היא מאור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבתי לה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי כי באורך ומאורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, בואי ושלום עטרת פלה גם בשמחה ובצלחת אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לאחד הודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, די 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 די
Let's sit down. The Shabbat Queen is here, so since she's here, let's take a time to greet her in one another, say hi to one another, turn to each other, say Shabbat Shalom. Make sure you know everybody's names. Hello to everyone on Zoom. It's great to see you. And let's continue with Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat on page 22. Oh, it was one capo down.
Let's see, there it is. Yep. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat Tov lehodot la'Adonai Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat Tov lehodot la'Adonai Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Lechagid baboker chasecha Va'emunatcha baleon Alei asor ve'alei navel Alei higayon bechinor Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat Tov lehodot la'Adonai Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon.
A story from the Midrash in Avot de Rabbi Natan. Once, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was walking with his disciple, Rabbi Joshua, near Jerusalem, following the destruction of the temple. Rabbi Joshua wept as he gazed upon the ashes of the holy place. The place that atoned for the people Israel lies in ruins, he cried. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai held his student as tears fell from his face and offered words of comfort. Rabbi Yochanan said, "Even though our tears may fall and the temple has been destroyed, there is an equally effective way for gaining atonement." Rabbi Joshua wiped away his tears. "What is it, my rabbi?" he asked. Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai smiled gently. He said, "We can still gain atonement through deeds of chesed, of loving kindness. As it is written in the prophet Hosea, 'Loving kindness I desire, not sacrifice.'" I love this story. It could have ended in so many different ways. Rabbi Yochanan could have said harshly to his student, "Get over it." Or they could have cried together and lamented the reasons why the temple was destroyed. Or Rabbi Joshua could have decided that he no longer wanted a part of such a depressing religion. But it ends with Rabbi Yochanan comforting his student and providing a positive call to action, to do chesed, to do acts of loving kindness. This week, we begin a new book of the Torah, Deuteronomy. As I mentioned in my Shabbat message, Deuteronomy means second telling in Greek. It is mainly made up of Moses delivering his final speech, his devarim, his words, to the children of Israel right before they go into the Promised Land. In it, he does a second telling of all that has happened to the Jewish people. It is an amazing reminder that embedded right in the structure of the Torah itself, that it matters how we tell our story. The narrative of our story matters just as much, if not more, than the events of the story itself. The narrative of our story and how we construct that narrative matters just as much, if not more, than the events of the story itself. Did we end the story with destruction and mourning? No. Judaism teaches that we end it with a pathway forward. When the second temple was destroyed, and that we're going to commemorate tomorrow night with Tisha B'Av, when the temple was destroyed, the Jews could have said, "Forget it, we give up. This was our way of doing things, and that's it. It's not here anymore, and we're not going to do it anymore, and there's nothing to do." But instead, they decided to make a pathway forward. They decided to have hope, and they decided to do acts of chesed, loving kindness. They decided to choose life. The way we tell our story and the words that we use impact how we decide to live. Rabbi Joshua was given an incredible gift by Rabbi Yochanan. Don't let the destruction of the temple be the end of the story. Instead, know that you can take responsibility for rebuilding the world from chesed, from loving kindness. So too, we as readers of and inheritors of this story are given that same gift. So this week, when we find ourselves in a place of despair, or if we find others in a place of despair, let us lift each other up out of that despair by writing another chapter to our story. A story of hope, a story of kindness, a story of love. And then let's go live out that chapter in the world, act by loving act. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Okay. We are going to continue now with Chatzi Kaddish, the Reader's Kaddish. And that is going to be on page 26. Okay. You ready? 26. Okay. Please rise. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Amen.
B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayidechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimeru
Amen.
Yehi Shemira b'mevarach ve'alam l'al me'omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shemei d'Kudasha
Brichu.
Aleh kol v'chata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran me'alma
v'yimeru
Amen. Page 28. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Page 30. Roll into dark.
Roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night.
Oriyom.
For Ayom Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלבתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Continue on page 40. Our People's Song for Freedom. So this is a setting that really sounds like we're going free. It really does sound like that. So you have to sing it so it sounds like you're happy that you're free. Like you just crossed the sea and you're like really happy about that. You're celebrating. So here we go. Yeah, la 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 yeah, la 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 yeah, la 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 la. A little louder, I can't hear you yet. Here we go. Yeah, la 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 yeah, la 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 Kodesh, Nora Tehilo Dosefele, Nora Tehilo Dosefele. Malechutecha ra'u banecha, v'keyam lifnei Moshe. Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru. Adonai imoch le'olam. Adonai imoch le'olam va'ed. Yalla, it's like you mean it.
Oh, sure. It's Yismechu time. It's my favorite time of day. It's Yismechu time. Yismechu is on page 44. Forgetting the key that we sing it in. Okay. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei onig Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei onig Shabbat. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישמעו ותענגו בחשבת, ישמחו במלאכתך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלאכתך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, והשביעי רצית בו וקדוש שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת, ישמחו במלאכתך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלאכתך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, ישמחו במלאכתך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלאכתך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
So, we are about to have the Amidah. The Amidah is known as the silent prayer or the standing prayer. So we're going to do that in just a second. But I want to take us first into our moment of gratitude, where we have the opportunity to reflect on what we're grateful for. And in that way, we can enter our prayer having opened our heart a little bit to what we are thankful for, what we are feeling gratitude for on this Shabbat. So, would anybody like to share something that they are grateful for? Stacy.
My son Jesse is an RN, and many of you know he's also a type 1 diabetic, and he's been working with an endocrinologist, and at 7 a.m. this morning he took an exam to become a certified diabetes care and education specialist,
Wow.
and he passed.
Oh, mazel tov.
Flying colors.
Wow.
Mazel
And
tov.
his dream is fulfilled.
Wow.
He's always wanted to be a certified diabetes education specialist.
That is really, really cool.
Took the test with a concussion.
Okay. So he
Should we add him to the Misha Bayrock list?
Yeah, he was injured at work 2 weeks ago.
What?
He's 6'5".
Oh.
He bent down to pick something up off the floor and stood up quickly and hit his head on the hand sanitizer dispenser on the wall
Right.
and sheared it off of the wall.
Okay. And then he took his test.
And then he sat down on the floor and went, "Oy." But he passed, and I'm very proud of him.
Mazel tov. That's wonderful news. Yeah. Anyone else like to share something? Yeah.
I'm grateful for my friend Marshall bringing tonight,
Great.
continuing what was interrupted by the pandemic. And also, I'm grateful for some of the new melodies that you bring to us.
Thank you. That is good to hear. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, Marshall.
Great to be alive and back at West Center.
I'm glad to have you here. Welcome back.
Great to see you.
Welcome back. Okay, Jay. Yes, Richard.
I'm grateful that we want to commemorate Shabbat.
Great.
It's something that is important. I want to thank you for scheduling that.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Yeah. I'll explain a little bit more about Tisha B'Av in maybe towards the end of the service. Not as commonly known throughout the Reform world, but a quality holiday, quality observance, full of meaning. So, Jay.
I'm grateful so far that I got my 2 cats. Grateful for my 2 grandsons, for my daughter. One made getting scholarships for basketball.
Great.
The other one is ready
Mazel tov.
Great.
That's wonderful.
Mazel tov. Oh, yes.
I'm grateful. Well, Lisa, as you know, moved back in with me. I just wasn't sure if this was going to work or not. But she said tonight, "Gee, Dad, I'm glad I'm back home. It's like old times."
Aww.
That's so
She
great.
remembers some of those old times.
Right. Very good. Thank you.
I'll add, I'm grateful for Abigail, my niece. I talk about her every single week, and I won't stop. I will not stop. There's not a cutoff on this. Today, she sang a song to herself for the first time, which shows that she can remember songs and then repeat them back to herself unprompted. It was the cleanup song by Barney, and it's great to watch her grow and learn how to be a person. However she judges how being a person should look is wonderful. It's wonderful.
Amen. Anything from the chat?
Liz thanked me for something, but I don't think it's just a tech thing. It's not really like a spiritual gratitude thing.
It's not spiritual.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're grateful for the technology.
Oh, I'm also grateful for the Zwirling's 2 dogs. They have beautiful dogs, and I get to play with them. They're
I was
great.
going to say that I was grateful for the Zwirling's 2 kids because
Oh, I love Ellen and Calvin. They're
I
great.
met Ellen and Calvin this week, and they're getting ready for their B'nai Mitzvah, so very excited about
What?
that.
Okay, I love Roxy too.
Okay.
I'm her best friend. I have other friends, but I have human best friends, but I'm her best friend.
Everyone, with all of that gratitude, let's rise. We turn to the Amidah. It's on page 46. And I'm going to turn and face the ark. And so what we'll do is we'll begin the Amidah as we have been doing with Adonai Sefatai. And then we'll be able to pray silently through to page, one second, through to page 62. So from 46 to 62, you can use the words on the page. You can use the words in your own heart, or a combination thereof. You can also breathe, and then when you're finished with your prayer that you want to write tonight, then you can go ahead and have a seat.
Tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yadadai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai.
Ohio or just Osei Shalom? Just Osei, okay.
We continue now with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah. Yes. So let us turn now to page 246. And I was wondering, Lou, would you be able to open the ark? Lou Cardman. You want to open, would you be helpful to open the ark? That would be amazing. Thank you so much. Come on up, everyone. Please rise, page 246. Okay.
I'm going to stand over here so I don't block.
Yeah, go ahead. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. U'devar Adonai b'Yerushalayim. And this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Galul Adonai Iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachtav. Now we can close it. Very good. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al
על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
Liv, do you want to help with undressing a little bit? Calling an audible here. Just take off the yod first. Okay. Great. Stick it right there. And the breastplate, you can hold on to it somewhere.
I've never done this before.
Doing excellently. And now just pull off the cover. There you go. Beautiful.
Where do I put the cover?
I will take it in 1 minute. Okay, and I cover it. Thank you. Okay, you may be seated, everyone. So we are in our Torah book, the larger book, on page 1161. We're going to read from the first 3 verses of the Torah portion Devarim, the first part of the book of Deuteronomy. So I was talking a little bit before about Deuteronomy meaning the second telling. And Devarim, the Hebrew name for the book and also for the Parsha, means words. And what we're referring to specifically is Moses' words before he sends the Jewish people off into the Promised Land. So he knows and they know that it is his final chapter of his journey with them. And it is his way of describing history, thinking through the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, that really is the legacy that he wants to give to them as they go into the Promised Land. And I was talking earlier before about the way that the story is written is just as important, right, as what actually happens in the story. And I think that's something you see here in the book of Deuteronomy, that there's a lot of interesting things that are retold in different ways than they happened in the Torah. And it's interesting to think about what was the message that Moshe was trying to pass on to the Israelites and the way that he told this story.
Can we get a page number again?
The page number again is 1161, and we're reading right from the beginning of the Torah portion, where it just talks about, it introduces that these are the Devarim, these Eila Devarim that Moshe is going to speak about with the Bnei Yisrael, with the children of Israel. So what I thought we could do for the Aliyah is, so Moses was coming to the end of a chapter, and he was figuring out how to tell his story. And so I wanted to know if anybody wanted to come up to do the Aliyah that's coming to the end of one story of life and wants blessings in how they're going to retell that story. So is anybody, you don't have to tell us what it is, but if you came to the, you can if you want, but if the end of some kind of chapter in life, some kind of period of life, and you want to be near the Torah right now for some blessings on how to retell, how you're going to tell that story going forward.
I know I came up last week too, but it's genuine. It's a genuine thing. It's not just a participation.
That's okay. And you don't have to be shy because we can help you with the bracha, and then you get to see the Torah. So anyone else want us to try? Want to come on up? No? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to use this moment since Liv is here, and Liv has indicated that they are interested in learning like some of these like traditions and stuff like that. So Liv, what happens with an aliyah is you take the corner of your talit, you take one of your tzitzit, and the Torah reader will point to where they are going to start, and then you touch that word with your tzitzit, and you kiss it. And that is what you do right before you do the aliyah.
So do I do that?
You do that.
Okay.
Yes. So right there.
I'm so afraid I'm going to touch it with my dirty human mortal finger.
Don't be so afraid. It'll be okay. Amen. Brilliant. And then you kiss it, and you go ahead with the blessing.
Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Good. And hold this. Good. Amen. Ele hadvarim asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael be'ever hayarden bamidbar barva mulasuf ben paran uven tofel velavan b'chatzerot v'di zahav achad asar yom mechorev derech har seir ad kadesh barnea vayehi barbaim shana ba'ashti asar chodesh be'echad lachodesh daber Moshe el bnei Yisrael kechol asher tziva Adonai oto alehem. And you do the same thing with the tzitzit again to do the ending. Those are right there. You're kind of like certifying, stamping your seal of approval there. Amazing. Yep, go ahead. Yeah. The bracha.
Oh. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the beginning of it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten b'torah.
Amen.
It's been a while since my bat mitzvah.
And Liv, may you be blessed in the presence of this Torah. May you be blessed that as you end this chapter, this story, that the way that you retell it, the way that you tell the story should bring you life and hope and blessing.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, so Richard Lipsman has been generous enough to volunteer to do the Hagbah again, the lifting of the Torah. And I invite everybody to please rise. Mezota Torah shesam Moshe livnei b'nei Stand and turn it. Okay. Eitz Chaim hi lamachazikim betomchecha meushar derachecha darchei noam bechol netivotecha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha menashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu I'll leave the ark open. We're going to turn now to Aleinu.
What about Misha Berach?
Oh, Misha Berach.
Yeah, Misha Berach
about the
sometimes
Misha
happens when the Torah is still open.
Okay, thank you, Liv.
If we are doing a Torah service, then that's usually when the Misha
No,
Berach
that's-
happens.
Did you know that the Misha Berach, you may be seated. Let's close the ark for a second. Thank you.
I shall
The
return.
Misha Berach actually originated as part of the Torah service, and it happened during the Torah reading as part of the bracha, the blessing that was made for the person who came up to do the aliyah to the Torah. And also there was a time when you could do Misha Berach lecholim, Misha Berach for sick, for those in the community who were sick. So Debbie Friedman, Alava Shalom, the great Reform composer, composed the beautiful setting that we have to Misha Berach as a prayer for healing, and it became so popular, it was so clear that it filled a need in our congregations, that congregations started using it even Friday night, even outside of the Torah service, even during other services. So it's a beautiful, beautiful prayer, and it's become an extremely important prayer. So we turn to page 252, and we draw into our hearts those who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. So if you would like to share the name of someone for whom you are praying, please do so as my eyes meet yours.
Marie Van Keur, Myra Levine, Jerry Levine.
Robert Levy, Loretta Reynolds, Nicole Sneakle, Chris
And any from the chat?
Let's see. None from chat. Do you have the list? No? Okay. We also hold in our hearts those who are on our Temple Misha Berach list. Unfortunately, we do not have it on hand, but we do hold them in our hearts.
So we join together on page 253, sending prayers of healing to all those in need of healing.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikor
rise now as we turn to Aleinu on page 282.
Oh, let me correct that for the people at home. Okay. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We call to mind now those who have been taken from this life most recently. Luz Allen, Sheldon Levine, and Ann Williams, dear friend of Arlene Hanlon. And we also think of those who have died at this season in years past. Joseph Aronson, Elizabeth Apt, Harry Beck, Sarah Bright, Chrissy Esposito, Harriet Finkelstein, Cecilia Froman, Isaac Mayers Goldfeder, Samuel Goldsmith, Abraham Goodstone, Dorothy Korn Honig, Yetta Kessler, Etta Kraus, Rose Legon, Murray Lesser, Esther Levinson, Louis Lifson, Derry O'Donovan, Rose Oshinsky, Ira Schneider, Sadie Schreier, Selma Siegel, Theodore Sorgan, Alan A. Sylvain, Louis Warshawski, Hyman Weinberg, and Gertrude Zirinsky. Are there any names that anyone would like to add for yard sites or shloshim or shana? If it is your custom, please rise as we turn to Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, B'chayon uv'yomechon uv'chayed chol beit Yisrael, Ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivarach le'olam u'amei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah brichu. Le'olam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh
Oseh
shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, b'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and all Israel, and comfort to all of the bereaved among us. And we say together,
Amen.
you may be seated. So just a couple of announcements. I wanted to talk a little bit about Tisha B'Av. So that's going to be tomorrow night at 7:30 here at the temple. Tisha B'Av literally means the 9th of Av. It's the 9th of the month, the Hebrew month Av. And it commemorates the destruction of the first temple, the second temple, and a number of other tragedies that have befallen the Jewish people over time. And it's also seen as the beginning of the high holidays. It's the beginning of the high holidays. So we enter in this period of mourning, this period in which we really consider the destruction and tragedies that have befallen our people, so that as we approach Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we can really think about how it is that we want to rebuild in this coming year. So by experiencing the very depths of sadness and sorrow and collectively getting into that mood, we then can rise up from that depth and really take ourselves into the Chagim, into the holidays of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur with hope and with excitement about how this next chapter is really gonna unfold for us. It's very connected to the Torah portion that we just read. And actually, I forgot to say that this Shabbat has a special name. It's Shabbat Chazon. It's the Shabbat of vision. And it comes from the first word of the Haftarah, and it's about Isaiah's vision. And in it, he talks about the destruction that's going to befall Jerusalem, but then he also talks about the redemption. So the rabbis place this Haftarah reading on this Shabbat right before Tisha B'Av to remind us that even in the most despair that we're having, even from that despair, we can have hope that there will be redemption. So it's really amazing the way the calendar ties all of that together. Deuteronomy about telling our stories, and Shabbat Chazon about the vision for what's going to happen to ourselves, like over history, and then Tisha B'Av, this commemoration about the destruction of Jerusalem and then rebuilding. So Tisha B'Av, it's tomorrow night at 7:30. We're going to read the book of Eicha, the book of Lamentations. I'm so excited to share with you. We have this woman who lives in the Rockaways. Her name is Ariel Lever, and she is an actress. She's a theater person. She's Jewish, and she's going to come and read some of the chapters. I asked her to come and read. She has a 1-year-old. It's so nice of her that she's going to come. And so she'll be there. It sounds like you'll be there. I'll be there. I think Liv's going to be there. If you've never tried it, it's sad. You come, we're going to have candles. It's going to be dark. You get into a sad mood. But then we're going to do some studying, and we're going to see how we can hopefully be able to turn that sadness into a hopeful response. So that is Tisha B'Av. It's tomorrow night at 7:30. And then next Friday at 10 a.m. we're having a Tat Shabbat here. So if you've heard of any little kids that want to come, they should come with their caregiver or their parent or grandparent.
When is this?
Next Friday,
Okay.
1 week from today at 10 o'clock in the sanctuary. We're going to have Brianna here from camp. We're going to do a craft. We're going to have the gym open. We're going to play some Shabbat songs.
So excited.
It's going to be great. At 5:30, join us on the beach for Beach Shabbat. If you haven't had enough Shabbat after Beach Shabbat, you can come here at 7:30 for our regular service. But please know that our regular service next week is not going to be on Zoom because Liz and Thomas are not going to be here. So we're just going to be right here. We're going to be in Shabbat all together with no technology. It's going to be awesome, except for the microphones. Okay, so let's close out with MiPL, otherwise known as Ein Adir, on page 320. I know! Well, I love it too. So you have a friend in me with MiPL. That's right.
329 is MiPL.
328.
28.
Let's pull that up for those at home. There we go.
All right.
Let me get to the page myself so I don't have to look at the screen.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Ein Adir Adonai, Ein Baruch Eved Amram, Ein Gedula KaTorah, Ve'ein Dashaneha KYisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Ein Hador Adonai, Ve'ein Vatik Eved Amram, Ein Zaka KaTorah, Ve'ein Chachamecha KYisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Ein Tahor Adonai, Ve'ein Yachid Keved Amram, Ein Kabira KaTorah, Ve'ein Ladanecha KYisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Ein Podek Adonai, Ve'ein Tzadik Keved Amram, Ein Kadusha KaTorah, Ve'ein Tokamecha KYisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael. Mipiel, Mipiel, Yevorach Kol Yisrael.
Wish you a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And a beautiful week of blessings. And I'd love to invite everyone to come outside for Kiddush. I'm so thankful that Stacy baked things with peaches in them that we are going to eat. It's so exciting. And please come and join us outside. Oh, and I want to thank Liv for leading us in music, and also Liz for leading us in technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you.